Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook Library, a sanctuary of stories where fan fictions come alive, where ancient legends echo from the East and Western worlds awaken with wonder. Settle in. Your journey begins now.
Game of Thrones. I only want to enjoy life, but my little sister want me to be the king. Chapter 21. I smile a little at the sight in front of me. It has been a few years since Lee attacked us, and we have grown very strong. We are now a new kingdom instead of an island near Lee. We are now called Solaris, and the capital city, our only big city at the moment, is Solaris. Yeah. My naming sense is not really good. Our Lunarian family is the moon, Solaris kingdom is the sun, and now Stellaris is the stars. When I explained it to Melisandre and the others, they immediately agreed because they said it was a beautiful name. Lee, as expected, did not like it when we declared independence, but they could not do anything about it. At least anything big. The reason? Their money did not allow them to hire more mercenaries. My plan is working. By selling their main product at a very cheap price, they start to struggle to get customers. They even try to tell others that their wine is better, but it is all a lie, as the customers notice it when they try Licini wine. Our wine is better, and we always deliver the best wine, while the wine coming from Lee is a mixed bag. Sometimes, you will get a barrel of delicious wine, but the next one will not taste the same. It can be delicious, but most likely, it will be sour or less delicious than the previous one. Because of this, the customer will always buy things from us because they know that we will deliver the goods and it will always be the best. This is also the reason why my family name is known throughout the narrow sea. We are known as the merchants that sell high quality goods at a cheap price. On Essos, we sell our goods to Bravos, Lorith, Pentos, and Myr. As for Westeros, we still only do trade with the North and Dorne. The North has become our best trading partner. They are honest people. We give them goods, they give us money. We are friends to them, and they welcome us as family. Of course, some of them wanted my merchant to join their family by offering their daughter, but unlike in Dorne, they did not try to drug my merchant and let them make one of their daughters get pregnant. Speaking of Dorne, that place is dangerous. Melisandre already reported to me about them bribing 30 people in the crew to get information about why we can produce a lot of food. Unfortunately for them, they did not know anything about it and could only offer their service to smuggle higher quality goods from us and inform them of anything they could get. Of course, those people did not know that the one they were bribing was a double agent for me. Those people are the ones informing me about the territory they spy on and give the ones bribing them half-truth information. Not much information needs my attention. Even then, others can handle it. I use all the money from the trade to expand the city and ensure my kingdom will flourish. My lord, can I come in? I snap from my thoughts when I hear Melisandre's voice. Come in, Melisandre. A second later, I can see Melisandre and Willem enter my office. The two of them bow at me, and I say, "What is it? My lord, we come here bringing you the monthly report. It is already that time of the month, huh? Very well. Tell me the report I need to hear." "Of course, my lord." She takes out the first few papers and says, "The first one is the monthly profit we make. We managed to make 200,000 gold coins. This is a clean profit after paying for the maintenance of the ship and paying all the crew. This is a lot of money. I can get a lot more if I increase the price, but I have decided not to do that. We did not need more money as I had more than 60,000 tons of gold blocks in a single large chest, and I had 3 large chests full of gold blocks. There is a lot of gold underneath my house in the Minecraft world. We also get a lot of other currency from Myr and Lorith. Do you want me to exchange it in Bravos? No. Let's store it instead of exchanging it for Westeros currency." I suddenly get an idea and say, "You know what? Let's give that currency to the Iron Bank as an investment. It will not be enough to make me a powerful shareholder of the bank, but it should be enough to make me a shareholder." Melisandre smiles and says, "It is enough to make you a shareholder, my lord. Do you want to use your position to reclaim your throne?" I release a sigh and say, "No, I want to use that position in case the Iron Throne tries something stupid against us. They have a lot of debt to the Iron Bank, and if I have a voice in the bank, I can pressure them not to mess around with us." "Of course, my lord. I understand. Do we need to keep investing in the bank using other currencies?" I make sure we have some of the currency for an emergency, but you can give the rest as an investment. I understand. Anything else? Melisandre takes out more paper and gives it to me. These are more marriage proposals, my lord. Tell them that I did not want to marry at the moment. And they are not worthy of your affection, my lord. Right. Anything else? There is an invitation for you to attend a party from Dorne. The one inviting you is House Martell, my lord. Nope. I don't want to attend their party. I don't want my identity to be exposed. According to Willem, my face resembles that of the queen, my mother. It is not a lot, but I still have some resemblance to her. I don't want them to notice it, especially when they are from the family where my good sister comes from. Very well, my lord. I shall write a rejection letter. Thank you, Melisandre. Anything else? Another invitation, my lord. With the winter about to end, Lord Eddard Stark wants to invite you to attend their first spring celebration. He wants you to be the special guest at the celebration. I think for a few seconds before saying, when will this celebration happen? Lord Eddard says that spring will arrive in a month. Very well. Tell him that I will attend the party. Also, make sure to ask him to inform us a week before the party or at least tell Hora when he is there. Of course, my lord. I nod and say, anything else? Nothing at the moment that needs your attention, my lord. I nod and look at Esser Willem. What about you, Esser Willem? I come here to inform you that the group that I trained for a year is ready. Their loyalty is unquestionable. They will never inform others about our secrets. They are in great shape and form. I have trained them to be the perfect knights. Lastly, they are fearless. They shall never falter against monsters in that world. I nod and smile a little at that news. My next plan can finally be done. Good. It is time for us to explore the end. Chapter 22. I chuckle a little when I see the new people look around in wonder. I love seeing how people see this new world and all the things that I have built in this place. The ever-expanding farm, the man-made forest, and the massive lake all in one place is something you do not see every day. The only downside is that something in their eyes is bothering me. They now have the same craziness Melisandre has in their eyes. They are now even more fantastic than before, and I truly believe that I am some sort of demigod sent to the mortal world to help them or something along that line. Oh well. At least now I know their loyalty will be unbroken. Right. Esser Willem, please show them around while I prepare for our expedition. Of course, Your Highness. I nod and look at Melisandre. You can do whatever you want to do. However, make sure to prepare the iron armor set that I already prepared for this expedition. The same goes for the bow I already prepared. The special kind, not the one on the special box. The one I hang in the frame in the armory. Of course, my lord. I shall give them the enchanted armor. My lord, can I sacrifice some of the animals to bless us in our journey? I nod and say, go for it. Just make sure you did not sacrifice all of them. I only forbid human sacrifice and let her use the animals as sacrifice. The reason? Well, the past religions in my past life all used animal sacrifice to appease God, so I don't have any problem with that. I will let them as long as they are mine and not someone's animal. Of course, my lord. I nod and leave her to her own device. I walk to the mansion and go to the basement, where I can see a brewing stand. I have already encountered a nether fortress in the past and even explored it. The result is me killing a lot of blazes and getting their rods. Because of this, I can create a lot of potions for my people. I shake my head and walk toward the chest nearby. I open it up and take 2 stacks of slow-falling potions and 4 stacks of potions of healing. I also take 2 stacks of wooden planks, 2 stacks of wool, and 7 stacks of arrows. I think for a few seconds and decide to take another 5 stacks of arrows. I only have 2 bows with infinity enchantment for me and Willem. The rest of the arrow is for the others. Let's see, what's more. Right. Ender Pearl. 1 for each person. I walk to the large chest at the back and open it. I take a stack of Eye of Ender and a stack of Ender Pearl. The first is for the portal, and the second is for an emergency tool in case something wrong happens. I also make sure to take some beds because I know the journey will take us more than 2 months, even when we use the boat highway to go through the ocean. Building that thing takes a huge chunk of my time in Minecraft, and I will make sure to use that thing. I shake my head and walk to the nearby crafting table to make 6 buckets. I will fill the buckets with water later. If only a bucket of water can be stacked, I will create more. Sadly, I cannot do that. 6 buckets will be enough, I think. I nod and craft 2 ender chests. I put one of them in the corner of the room and filled it with something that was not too important, like cobblestone, obsidian, and logs as building material. I also bring 20 iron blocks and a lot of food. We will bring a horse with us before stopping at the stop point near the ocean. We will bring a large chest that we strap around the horse as an additional resource we can use in our journey. This world is massive, and we need all the resources we need. I already created a checkpoint in the form of an underground house for us to use. We will stay underground every night to ensure the monster cannot kill us before reaching the stronghold. We have a lot of people here, and there will be a lot of mobs each night. Because of this, I already renovated the mine to make it a great home for us. I shake my head and close the ender chest. I leave the basement and walk to my room. I take my diamond armor set and store it inside my inventory. I want some netherite equipment, but I never get any ancient debris while exploring the nether. Even with the help of TNT, I did not find any. That thing is even more rare than diamond, holy shit. I will search for them later. For now, I need to prepare for the incoming fight against the Ender Dragon. I also take my swords and bow. My bow has power V, infinity, and unbreaking 3 as enchantments, and my sword has sharpness V, mending, unbreaking 3, looting 3, and sweeping edge 2. This is the best enchantment I can get for my sword. That is why I call this sword Excalibur. After storing all my weapons and armor, I leave my room and walk out of the mansion. However, as I leave the mansion, I blink a little when I see the others already gathering around in the middle of the field. I can see a massive statue made of sticks and wood standing in the middle of the field, and surrounding the statue is a trail of blood with a torch stabbed on top of the blood. I might not be the best in the magic field, but even I can feel the magic coming from the circle and rune writing by blood inside the circle. I start to regret agreeing with Melisandre. However, it was too late when I saw Melisandre look at me with a giant smile. My lord, please come inside the circle. I release a sigh and only hope that R'hllor is not someone who will possess me. I prepare to take out a bucket of milk in case that happens and hope that milk can dispel possession. I walk toward Melisandre and say, "How many cows do you use, Melisandre?" "I use 3 of them, my lord. I also take 7 chickens, 3 pigs, and 3 sheep." 3 and 7, huh? That is the number of powers, right? What do I need to do now? Just stand there, and I shall begin the ritual. Here I go, I guess. Chapter 23. I release a sigh as I stand behind Melisandre, who looks at the statue in front of her. She raises her hand and says, "O Lord of Fire and Life, I offer you the blood of the best cattle we have. Drink and bless us with your warm fire. Bless us in our journey of destiny. The journey that shall save this world." After she is done, the entire statue sets ablaze, and I can see the fire change into a humanoid form that looks at me. The form it takes is an old man with a long beard, a strong body, and holding a long sword. "O Lord R'hllor, thank you for showing your magnificent appearance. Your chosen one shall embark on the journey to save the world. The journey that shrouded even your vision. We come here to ask for your blessing. Blessing that shall help us in our journey and bring victory in your name." The figure did not move for a few seconds before suddenly, he moved his hand and placed it on my head. I can feel a warm feeling coursing through my body. A second later, I know how to create and control fire. Not only that, but I am also now immune to all fire. After he takes his hand back, I can hear a rumbling noise coming from the fire. "I demand you to create a grand temple on your island." I can only nod and say, "Of course, Lord R'hllor." "Good. Go and defeat the tormented mother dragon and rescue her offspring. The fate of the world is in your hands, Viserys Targaryen." I blink at those words and am about to ask something, but before I can do that, the fire is gone alongside the statue. I shake my head and look at Melisandre, who looks at me proudly. I can only sigh and say, "Melisandre, make a design for the Grand Temple, will you?" Her smile gets bigger, and she happily nods her head. "Of course, my lord. We will depart in 2 hours so we can arrive at the first checkpoint before the sun goes down. Tell the others to prepare the horse and ensure they take as many essential goods as possible." "I understand, my lord." I will wait in my room. I have something I need to think about. I walk to the mansion once again while my mind is full of questions. The tormented mother dragon, huh? I remember many lores floating around the forum and YouTube videos about the Ender Dragon. One of them is about the Ender Dragon forced to be in the end, so the previous form of Enderman experimented on her. Or how the dragon is forced to be there to fight the original population of the end so the Enderman can settle in that place. Does that mean one of those lore is correct in the Minecraft world the stranger created for me? Also, rescuing the offspring. Does that mean I can hatch it? If I remember correctly, it needs fire and blood, no. With my immunity to fire, I only need to bathe in one while bleeding or some shit. I will think about it later. For now, I need to focus on defeating this dragon. Point 3 Road Pavedard looks at the letter in front of him and smiles a little. What makes you have that smile, husband? Eddard looks at Caitlin, smiles a little, and says, it is a letter from Lord Lunarin. Oh, what does he want? Is it related to the incoming festival? Yes. He accepts my invitation and asks me to tell him a week before the festival starts. Caitlin nods her head in understanding. At first, she did not like the Lunarin family for robbing her family trade by offering the food at a lower price. However, after seeing how harsh the winter was, she looked at them with a new light. Without their wood, food, and clothes, her family will be in a lot of trouble. Maester Luwin also tells her that if not for them, Sansa would not have been born, as he uses the healing potion they created to heal her when the snowstorm rages outside the keep. She would also not have another child if not for the healing potions the Lunarin gave to them. Eddard looks at his wife's bulging stomach and says, how is our child? Caitlin smiles and pats her belly before saying, she is healthy, my lord. How about you? Any pain or anything? Caitlin smiles, touched by his worry, and says, there is nothing wrong and no. I did not feel any pain. Maester Luwin is making sure that the baby and I are healthy. That's good. Winter is almost over, and I don't want the two of you to get sick. You don't need to worry, husband. I will take care of myself. Eddard nods and kisses his wife on the forehead before letting her go. Caitlin looks at the table and sees paper on his table. What is this, Ned? It is a plan to make a new Stark fleet. Eddard walks to the table and shows her the plan in his mind. I want to strengthen the connection between House Stark and House Lunarin of Solaris Kingdom. That's right. They declare themselves independent from Lee, right? The news of the Lunarin family declaring independence after the Magister of Lee tried to destroy them had already spread to Westeros. Are you sure you want to do that, Ned? The Lyseni will attack them sooner or later. I know that, and I know that they will not succeed. And why is that? Eddard smiles a little and says, because I know that they will win. What do you mean? The Solaris Kingdom has something that Lyseni did not have, Cat. What is that? Eddard smiles and says, they have loyalty and something they want to protect. A soldier will fight better when they want to protect. I remember fighting against the Kingsguard, who was protecting Rhaegar in the Battle of Trident. I see. Eddard nods his head but frowns afterward when he sees the other letter. And also, there is news of Ironborn gathering a lot of lumber from the coast. Chapter 24 This is it. We arrive at the End Portal. After a grueling journey here, we finally arrive at the End Fortress. It will take us 3 months before we arrive here, a month more than I predicted. The reason? Monsters. Those fuckers come to us like a sea of zombies from the movie. It is especially tough when we are crossing the sea. The drowned fill the entire ocean, and it takes time if we do not manage to reach the checkpoint to build a massive tower for us to hide. However, what made matters worse, they did not die when the sun came out. Because of the water, they did not die. The drowned who hold a trident is easier because they do not attack us as long as we are not touching the water. However, the one who did not hold a trident made it harder for us to march. They try to drag us to the water, and once we touch that damn water, the one holding the trident will attack us. We almost died battling all the drowned on our first day fighting them. The following day, I built a wall around us while the others protected me from the drowned, who tried to grab me into the ocean. It takes us 2 weeks to leave the first ocean and reach the land. The land might be easier to cross, but that does not mean it is easy. We are crossing a jungle biome. I already created a path for us, but because of how thick the jungle is, monsters can survive there. Lucky for us, it is not as challenging as crossing the ocean because we have a lot of ground to stand on, and we do not need to worry about getting dragged into the sea by a sneaky zombie. It takes a long time and effort for us to reach this place. After a day of resting, we are ready to enter the portal. I look at my companion and say, "Are you guys ready?" I can see them nodding their head, and I take a deep breath before jumping into the portal. Point 3 road pav too long. That is what is inside her mind. It has been too long for her to be in this place. It has been thousands of years since she was first forced to enter this place. The people that forced her to come into this place are already gone. They are gone to try to face their foolishness of creating creatures in their hubris of goal for immortality. She knows that they are dead because she can feel her mind returning. However, the place they put her into starts to break her mind, and slowly, she loses herself. She can only watch longing at her young. He has yet to hatch, and she is glad for it. The shell shall protect him from the corruptive energy around this world. However, she knows that her young will not last long because the corruptive energy will seep into the shell, and her only hatchling will be gone. Her only hope is someone manages to find this place and help her young. However, they need to kill her because of the magic that forces her to attack anyone who manages to get close to this cursed place. She blinks for a second when she feels something change in the air and looks at the floating island in the endless darkness. On top of the island, which is made of obsidian, is a group of people. Kill me. That is what she wants to say to the new group of people. However, she cannot do that because of the magic that cages her in this place. She can only roar and fly around the pillar that holds her chain. The same pillars that kept her alive all these years in this corrupted world. As she flies around, she blinks for a second when she sees the people do not approach her and instead create a building and a bridge between the two lands. She waits for a few minutes before she finally sees them walking through the bridge, but this time, they are wearing helmets made of pumpkin. She ignores it and roars at them as she can feel the compulsion to attack visitors, which gets stronger and overwhelms her thinking. She can hear the youngest of them shout, "Spread out and drink the potions. Don't let the dragon hit you." She can see them spreading out, navigating through the remnant of her jailer, who is blissfully unaware of the invader for some reason. Is this because of their helmet? She wondered. She does not think about it, flies above it, and then releases 5 balls of energy. Watch out, Melisandre. Prepare for Plan A. The youngest one, Viserys, shouts while running toward the nearby pillar with a bow in hand. When he gets a clear view, he shoots at the crystal floating on top of the pillar. When his arrow hits its target, the crystal explodes. When Viserys destroys one of the pillars, she can feel her immortality stripped from her body. In her excitement, she releases another roar that the others think of as anger. She dived down and hit one of the visitors with her head. The spell in her body demands her to bite them, but she manages to push them away so she does not kill them. On the side, Viserys shoots the crystal with his bow while the others fight against the dragon, who is thrashing around and sending them flying. Some of them even need to use Ender Pearl to teleport them to the safe zone. Viserys can only grit his teeth and trust them to kite the dragon away from him while he destroys all the end crystal. He continues to run through the end with his bow and shoots at the crystal. When he sees the crystal surrounded by a cage, he pours 6 buckets of water around the obsidian pillar and creates a tower to the crystal. After destroying the crystal, he jumps into the puddle of water underneath him and stores the water inside the bucket once again before running toward the next pillar. He keeps doing this for the next 15 minutes before he can finally destroy the last pillar. When Viserys destroys the last end crystal, something changes with the dragon that is attacking his men. A sense of soul arrived within her eyes. The spell still makes her need to attack all the visitors, but now she can hold it for a moment to talk. She turns around and looks at Viserys, who prepares to fight, and says, "Thank you, O stranger from beyond the stars." Chapter 25 inches. Thank you, O stranger from beyond the stars. I look at the dragon in shock. Why you can talk? For a moment, the magic that erodes my mind gets weaker, but the corruption already seeps deeper into my soul. Sooner or later, I will be nothing but a wild beast without any consciousness in my head. I look at the dragon and say, "How can we help you? Maybe we can destroy the magic that forces you to become mad." I can see the dragon shake her head and say, "No, it is already too late for me." However, I have 2 requests for you. I am happy to help. She looks at the egg on top of a pillar of bedrock. Take my child away from this world. I don't want him to die alongside me. He is the last of his kind, and I want someone to take care of him. I shall do that. What is the last request? She looks at me and says, kill me. Kill me and get out of this place. To open up the portal, you need a soul energy big enough to fuel the portal. Kill me. Kill me before the curse takes over me. I look at her for a few seconds before taking a deep breath. Very well. It is nice to meet you, Mother Dragon. May your next life be full of freedom, just like the wind that travels around the world freely. I can see her nod her head before roaring. I take my bow and aim at her. The real battle starts now. Point 3 Road Paw of the Mother Dragon raises one of her wings to block all the arrows flying at her before swinging it toward Viserys and his group, creating a powerful gust of wind. 2 of the people get thrown away by the powerful wind. Viserys runs forward, jumps, and builds a tower to reach the dragon before thrusting his sword at the dragon. The Mother Dragon roars in pain as Viserys' diamond sword pierces through her skin. She flaps her wings, throwing Viserys to the ground and flying to the sky. She opens her mouth and releases a massive ball of purple energy toward them. Viserys and his group scatter around the battlefield to dodge the incoming attack. While the Mother Dragon is busy with the others, Viserys pulls his bow and fires a hail of arrows at her. Each of his arrows pierced through her scale and hit her flesh. When the Mother Dragon looks at him, Viserys puts away his bow and takes out his second sword, as the first one is still in her body. She flies toward Viserys, who quickly jumps away from her, but even with her quick action, a chunk of the ground hits his body. It did not hit him directly, but the impact was strong enough for him to chug a healing potion. However, while Viserys is chugging the potion, the Mother Dragon dashes forward with her mouth wide open and tries to bite him. Viserys widens his eyes and rolls to the side, barely managing to get away from the attack. He takes out his bow and fires 2 arrows at the charging dragon. He rolls once again when the dragon gets close to him, but this time, he thrusts his sword at the dragon, stabbing her in the neck while he is rolling away. Viserys gets up and uses the opening the dragon gives him to pull out the first sword on one of her legs. However, after he pulls the sword, the Mother Dragon moves her tail toward Viserys. Sadly for her, Willem arrives with a tower shield in hand to block the tail attack. His shield did not stop the tail attack, but it was enough to reduce the impact. Viserys helps Willem get up while the others charge forward with their sword and shields in hand. On the side, Melisandre is done with her preparation and summons 5 balls of fire. She sends them to the dragon, and while they do nothing to the Mother Dragon, she can change the shape of the fire into chains that hold her to the ground, preventing her from flying away. Are you okay, Your Highness? Viserys nods his head and gives Willem a vial of potion. I am good. Drink that, and let's join the others. The 2 of them drink the potions and feel their bodies healed by them before joining the fight again. However, before they can even reach their Mother Dragon, she flaps her wings with all her strength. It creates a strong gust of wind that throws away all the people attacking her and is strong enough to break the fire Melisandre creates. Even Viserys and Willem need to stab their sword to the ground to ensure their body does not get thrown away even at such a distance. Viserys runs toward Melisandre, who is panting nearby, and says, Are you okay, Melisandre? I am okay, my lord. It is a backlash from my magic getting destroyed that forcefully. I will be good in a few seconds. Viserys takes out a potion and gives it to her. Drink this. She drinks the potion, and her color starts to return. Viserys nods and says, Can you do that magic once again? I will try to end this fight in a single attack. Give me a couple of minutes, my lord. Done. After saying that, Viserys joins the fight by shooting an arrow at the dragon that is circling them. He continues to try to shoot the dragon and manages to hit her 3 times out of 10 before she finally does another dive bomb at him. Viserys and the others start to scatter away from her. When she lands on the ground, it creates another shockwave that throws some of the people, but Viserys manages to build a wall between him and the shockwave to prevent him from getting thrown once again. When he feels the shockwave is gone, Viserys makes his move. However, as he walks away from his cover, the next thing he sees is the massive head of the Mother Dragon charging at his wall. With all his might, Viserys jumps away from his current position and just barely manages to dodge the attack. When he sees the mother dragon stop, Viserys suddenly shouts, Melisandre. Now. A second later, 3 pillars of fire appear from the ground and hold the mother dragon's legs, making her fall to the ground. Melisandre claps her hands together, and suddenly, the pillar of fire engulfs the mother dragon, ensuring she cannot escape. While the others cannot get close because of the intense heat, Viserys charges forward with his sword in hand. He jumps and stabs her neck with his sword. He continues to stab the neck part with his sword until he sees the mother dragon stop moving. He can see that she is still alive, but as if something has been cut off, she does not have the will to attack him like before. She only looks at Viserys and says, "Ah." At last, Viserys drops his weapon and quickly takes out a potion, trying to heal the dragon. No. Don't waste them, my friend. But, number. All life must come to an end, and now is my time. What is a wave without the ocean? A beginning without an end. They are different, but they go together. Now you go among the stars, and I fall among the sand. We are different, but we go together. Viserys can only look at her with tears threatening to fall out of his eyes. The mother dragon looks at her young once again, and Viserys knows what to do. He walked toward the egg, but just like in the game, the egg teleported away. The mother dragon wants to say something but stops when she sees Viserys put a torch underneath the egg and destroy the block above the torch. After seeing her young safe in his hand, the mother dragon looks at him and says, "My young now shall fly among the clouds. I thank you. Their freedom is my end. What will it be like, I wonder, to go to sleep and never wake up? Perhaps next we meet, I will be an ocean current, carrying seeds to a new land, or a creature so small it sees the gaps between the grains of sand." She looks at Viserys with a kind and grateful expression before finally saying her final words. Farewell, friend. Chapter 26. I see the mother dragon in front of me start disintegrating into pitch black dust. To the side, I can see a portal inside the altar-like building underneath the pillar holding the dragon egg. I look at the egg in my hands and feel a connection established between the two of us. I now can feel life inside the egg, and I know what to do if I want to hatch it. I pat the egg and say, "Don't worry. I will hatch you and make sure you grow stronger." I look at Melisandre, who walks toward me and gives her the egg. "Please hold this for a moment." She nods while I walk toward the lingering effect of the dragon breath. I take out a bottle and scoop some of the aura. To my surprise, they enter the bottle, leaving me with a bottle full of dragon's breath. I look at the others and say, "Help me store all these lingering breaths. The one injured stays behind. I will heal you guys." 7 people take the bottle and scoop all the breath while I am busy healing the others. I had not noticed before, but some of them even lost their arms after getting crushed by the boulder thrown away by the mother dragon. Lucky for them, healing potions heal the crushed arm as long as the arm is not completely gone. It can reattach a limb but cannot regenerate limbs from nothing. After a minute of healing, we are ready to return. We stand around the altar, and I say, "We will jump into the portal and return to the farm. Let's jump at 3. 1, 2, 3. All of us jump into the portal, and the next thing I know, I get surrounded by darkness with stars decorating the entire sky. I look around in confusion before I see a man sitting not too far away from me, looking at me with an amused expression. When he sees me looking at him, he smiles a little. "Who are you?" I ask him. He stands up and says, "Me. I am many things. I wear many faces, yet I'm known by all. I can be a whisper. I can be an announcement. I am the one who stands at the end of the line." And it clicked in my head. You are death. Not god of death, but death itself. Bingo. I look at him for a second before saying, "Why? Why are you reincarnating me into this body? I'm already dead, and I thought you hate someone who cheats you." "Oh, I hate those kinds of people. However, you are different. You are already dead. Your life is over. I ask life to give you a new path instead of randomizing it." I blink at that answer and say, "Does that mean I will reincarnate even if you interfere or not?" Yup. For the next mega-annum, life will be the one taking care of life. I only harvest them while life will think of a way to process them. At the moment, life loves a reincarnated circle at the moment. I can only look at him in confusion. What is mega-annum? How long was it in a year? Also, life is playing with our souls. The more I think about it, the more headaches it will cause. I will push it away for now. You still did not say the reason why you reincarnated me into this world. Death hums for a second before saying, truthfully, it is random. You are the unlucky one. He looks at me with a smile. Or rather, the lucky one. You seem to enjoy your time in this world and have already made the future 10 times better than its original line. He walks toward me and says, combine it with you helping the last remaining void dragon in this world, I shall reward you. Tell me, what kind of reward do you want? Before that, can you tell me what kind of world this is? I thought that this was a world you created for me to grow in power. Oh, it is. This world is the one that was personally created. Not for you. This world is an old world. A world that was once full of wonder. A world once full of people that create that said wonder. Where do you think those potions come from? They are the remnants of creations by those people. Sadly, in their drunken state of power, they want to create something. Something that angers me. They want to play with souls and the dead. They want to revive their deceased relative. They want to be immortal. I can see him frown and start to release a black, smoky aura from his body. Death takes a deep breath, and the aura disappears. I let them do what they want to do. However, in their hubris, they cross the line, and instead of summoning their relatives, souls from my realm, they create a portal that summons a being that is neither dead nor alive. They create a portal to summon the zombies and skeletons, and many more. They thought that they could take care of them, but no. Each night, a horde of zombies will appear and wreak havoc on all cities and towns around the world. Because of this, a lot more people died, and now they become desperate to complete their goal. They create a portal to the Nether and continue their research. It was then they created another abomination, something that symbolized their end. They summoned the Wither, didn't they? Yes, they summoned the Wither, and that thing cost them a lot. Their race gets divided. Some run into the sea, some into the desert, and so on. However, there is a group of people that go to the end, and ironically, it becomes the last place they go before some of them decide to clean the past of their ancestors and kill the Wither. Wait. Don't tell me the Endermen are, yup. They are a husk of what used to be the dominant race of this world. They get what they want. Immortality, but sadly for them, their body is the only thing that is immortal as their soul comes to me in the end. Death shakes his head and says, anyway, let's get back to the reward. What do you want? I will not grant you anything you want, mind you. Tell me. I think for a few seconds before saying, can I get two? They are minor rewards. At least, I think so. Oh, tell me. Can you tell the faceless men to serve me? I don't want them to kill others, but instead, I want them to be my spy and counterspy against people who want to spy on my kingdom. Also, I want them to make sure no assassin can kill me and my family. Death laughs and says, this is why I like you. Instead of asking for power, you are thinking of a way to protect your family and kingdom. Granted. What is the second one? Can you also make sure no magic can see me, my family, and my kingdom? The so-called three-eyed raven, that is another abomination that I need you to kill for me. Anyway, granted. Gods and goddesses can still see you, but anyone less of a divine being cannot see you. Death smiles and says, go and change the world. Father of dragons, you have my blessing. He snapped his finger, and suddenly, I stood in the middle of a grassland not too far away from the farm. Chapter 27. I look at the egg in front of me and release a sigh. I already know how to hatch the egg, but it will take a lot of my time and a lot of my blood. Yes, blood. I need to feed the egg with my blood if I want the dragon to think of me as its father. The egg needs a new life, and my blood will give it a new life. Not only that, but the egg needs to be submerged in a pool of lava for an hour every day until the day it hatches. However, what makes me sigh is not because it is hard to hatch the egg. No, it is time-consuming but not complicated. What's complicated is that once the dragon hatches, I need to think of a way to hide its presence until it grows bigger or big enough to defend itself. I know that I did not need to worry about spy poisoning my dragon with the faceless men protecting us from spies and assassins, but you never know. It will be at its weakest when it is just a hatchling, and I need to do extra work to protect it. I shake my head and leave the egg in my room. Brother. As I step out of the room, I grunt a little as a small missile slams into my body. I look down and smile a little at the sight of Dany giving me a massive grin. VY. Let's play. I laugh a little, pick her up, and then spin her around. I can hear her squeal in happiness before putting her on my shoulder. I look at her and say, "Where do you want to go, Dany?" "Market." "Oh, is there something you want to buy?" I ask her while leaving the mansion. As we left the mansion, I could see people busy building a castle where my previous mansion was located. After declaring that we are an independent country, Melisandre and Willem ask me to make a castle. So here we are. I can make the castle myself, but Melisandre asks me to refrain from doing so because she wants to let the builder on the island do it. It will create jobs and feed money into the economy. Or something along that line. I have a lot of money lying around, so I agree with this plan. I want to taste octopus. I smile a little at her answer and say, "Octopus, huh, you really love them, huh, Dany? They are delicious." Octopus is something that many fishermen throw away because they are animals that get into their net and eat the fish in their net. However, it became a popular dish after I showed them how to cook them. The most popular one is the grilled octopus, which is already marinated in a combination of oil and herbs. Dany and I leave the mansion ground, and I can see a dozen guards following us, but make sure to create some distance. While we were walking to the market, I saw a lot of people working around the kingdom. Some of them are working on expanding the wall and building a new tower, while others are busy expanding the dock area. VY, what is that? I look to the side and see the fisherman moving a giant fish to the dock. Ah, that is a shark. Do you want to see it up close? Can we? Of course. Let's see it. When we get closer, I hear a merchant haggling with the fisherman about the price of a fin. Ah, right. Sharks are a valuable good in this world as well, right? I don't know if this is true or not, but it is to be said that shark fins will cure erectile dysfunction and increase one's vitality in bed. Back on Earth, that kind of concoction has been proven false, but I don't know if it works in this world or not. After agreeing with the price, the fisherman butcher the fin and give it to the merchant. After selling one of the fins, he looks at me and quickly kneels on the ground. "Your Highness." At those words, the others start to kneel and greet me. I smile at them, and Dany also waves her hand. "Please get up. I come here as a customer and not as a king." The other slowly gets up from the ground, and I look at the fisherman. "My little sister wants to see what kind of fish you have." This is the first time she sees a shark. He looks at Dany and says, "Do you want to look at it more closely, princess?" "Can I?" "Of course. It is an honor." I put her down and let her look around the shark excitedly. "How is the meat of the shark? Is it good?" "It is good if prepared well." "Oh, tell me more." "Of course. Sharks need to be prepared well because their meat is a little bit stinky. However, if it is prepared well, the meat is great grilled or made into a soup." "I see." I look at the shark and say, "Can you get the best cut for me? Send them to the mansion. I will notify the guards. Also, can you tell my cook how to process the meat for me? Here is the money." I give him a gold coin and see him bow. "Of course, Your Highness. It is an honor." I nod and walk toward Dany, who looks at the shark's teeth and says, "What are you looking at, Dany?" VY. "Look. There are a lot of teeth. It is like a dragon's mouth." "Yup. You should be careful, or a shark will eat you." I move her close to the mouth and hear her squeal in fright. I laugh as Dany punches my head angrily. VY. "Stupid. Stupid. Stupid. Sorry. Sorry. Let's go to the food market, okay? You can buy as many things as you want." "Really? Promise?" "I promise." "Come on." We continued our walk, but this time, we walked to the food market, where all the food stalls were located. When we arrived at the food market, I could see Melisandre standing not too far away from the first food stall. I wonder why she is here. I thought that she was overseeing the construction of the Grand Temple of R'hllor. "Melisandre, what are you doing here?" "I come here to accompany you, my lord." "Sure. Come on. We are going to buy some food." We go to the first stall, where they sell grilled octopus. While Dany is busy pointing out the food she wants, Melisandre leans toward me and says, "The liberation of Lee is ready to commence." Chapter 283. Povit might look fine from the outside, but if they know the people of Lee, they know that something is not right in the city of pleasure. Something is stirring within the people of Lee. Gone is the hopelessness in the eyes of the slaves. Now, there is a fire in their eyes. Fire that is ready to burst and burn anything in its path. One slave managed to get away from his captor and enter a house from the empty alley. As he enters the building, he can see a man nod his head, which lets him enter the hidden trap door near the corner of the room. He walks deeper into the underground room for a minute before seeing his comrades, fellow slaves, waiting for someone to sing for them. He remembers his son very well. It was a song created by their king, the breaker of chains, Viserys Targaryen. A bard from Solaris came to Lee and spread the song Viserys wrote. It was spread among the slaves and awakened the spirit inside of them that long died after being captured. The room becomes quiet when they see a bard walk to the podium and take a deep breath. A second later, the bard starts to sing. Do you hear the people sing? Singing the songs of angry men. It is the music of the people. Who will not be slaves again? The song awakens some inside of them. The new slaves look at the bard in awe and start to feel hope once again. Will you join in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see? An image appears in their mind. An image of starting anew without the chain around their neck and legs. An image of family that they can come back to. An image of their old home. Then join in the fight that will give you the right to be free. After the music ends, the bard looks at them and says, in a week, breaker of chains shall come to Lee with his army. If you want your freedom, stand up and grab it. The age of slavery shall end, and he shall be the first one to take that first step. If you want your freedom, take it and stand alongside us. The bard starts to leave but stops before he can get out of the podium to speak one last word. Join the banner of the sun, and your freedom shall appear in front of your eyes. The bard leaves the stage and walks out of the underground room. He needs to spread the news to the other group as well. He is among the group whose job is to recruit people in the liberation movement. Lately, their job is getting easier because the rich start to get paranoid after some of their slaves manage to run away and reach Solaris. After losing more than 200 slaves over the past few years, they started to use harsh punishment on anyone they thought wanted to run away. It gets so bad that the punishment manages to kill some of the slaves. The number is not high, but the bards and spies sent by Melisandre increase the number through rumors and songs. And it is working as the slave owner did not do anything to prevent the rumor from going around. Some are even willing to take that rumor and proudly say what he has done to a slave who tries to run away. The small kindle of fire now turns into a full fire that is ready to burn the entire island. It also helped that the Solaris kingdom increased its army and fleet. However, it is not a merchant fleet but rather a military fleet. People can see them and know that the time of freedom will soon arrive, and they need to act. Will they stay and do nothing, or grab the flag and join the banner? I look at the massive ship in front of me with a smile on my face. Thousands of tons of wood were used to build 36 ships for the incoming fight. We managed to get 2,000 people to join the army. They are the people who hate slavery and willingly join the army after hearing the incoming fight against Lee. The salary is also something that makes them join the army. I use a modern way of payment, but I also make sure to use a modern military structure. You will get good money from the army, but you need to do strict training and follow all the rules. If they break the rules, they will get strictly punished. You cannot get drunk while on duty, and you need to bring someone who will be sober alongside you when you go to the tavern. Lastly, there will be no looting, no pay, or anything that will smear the name of the army. With this, we will be welcomed with an open arm when we take over the entire island. Fear is a great tool for ruling, but it needs to be balanced with respect. That can only mean one thing. Put the fear of gods into my enemy and show kindness to my people to gain respect and fear at the same time. Now, we only need to make the equipment for the army. I already make a lot of leather armor for my army alongside shields for them. As for their weapon, Sir Willem tells me not to waste good iron and only use some of them to make a spear instead of a sword. The reason? It is more effective in war than a sword, especially the sword from Minecraft. The sword did not have enough reach for it to be effective in war. Spear is more effective because it is easy to use and does not need extra training to make it effective on the battlefield. Beautiful, isn't it? I look to the side and see Sir Willem standing next to me while looking at the fleet of ships in front of us. When are they ready? In a couple of days, Your Highness. We can depart in a week. I nod and look to the sky. Sir Willem, do you think that this is the right decision? Will it deter the other from attacking us, or will it encourage them to attack us? I don't know, Your Highness. Maybe the others will start to see us as a strong kingdom and hesitate to attack our fleet like before, but it can be the opposite. However, there is one thing that I know. We will continue to fight as long as you are the one leading us. There will be a lot of blood. The blood of the martyrs will water the meadow of Lee. That is the word you utter that day, and the others agree. They will sacrifice themselves for a better future and know you will bring them the better future they desire. Willem looks at me with a sad smile. I know that it is a heavy burden for someone as young as you, Your Highness. However, we will help you carry that burden until the day you die. I take a deep breath and look at the blue sky. You are right, Sir Willem. I raise my hand and say, for a better future. He smiles and also raises his hand. For a better future. Chapter 293 Pav, my lord. My lord. Viserys Orloris, the new gonfalonier of Lee, opens his eyes and opens the door to his bedroom. When he opens the door, he can see one of the guards he posted around his mansion look at him with a pale expression. What is it? This better be important to wake me up in the middle of the night. The soldiers gasp a big air and say, my lord, the Solaris kingdom is attacking us. What? They dare to attack us? Those upstart bastards. Viserys puts on his gonfalonier clothes and follows the soldiers to the wall of Lee. One of the soldiers gives him a spyglass to let him see a massive fleet sailing to their city. Viserys punches the wall underneath him and roars in anger. Damn it. He turns to the slave next to him and says, go to the first Magister mansion. Tell him to write a letter telling the mercenaries in the disputed land to return. We need them as fast as possible. He turns to his mansion's guard and says, wake the other Unsullied. Tell them to get here and defend the wall. We need to defend the wall against those barbarians. The guard nods and quickly goes to the barrack, where the remaining Unsullied sleep. Viserys, on the other hand, stays on the wall, looking at the incoming enemies with a frown. His mind is already working to form a plan to make sure to defend the city for as long as possible. He asks the others to bring a map so he can form an accurate plan for the incoming battle. However, he snaps from his thoughts when a man in his late 50s walks toward him. Viserys gets up and says, First Magister Harlos Ernos, the first Magister of Lee, looks at the distance and frowns. How long until they arrive here? In a few hours, my lord. 7 hours at most. Harlos nods his head and looks at the map on the ground. Where do you think they will land? Viserys nods and points his finger at the map. Here. They will land here. It is a perfect place to land. That small village. Why not at the dock? They are outside of our wall, but it is the nearest landing spot. Because their ship will have a hard time docking, my lord. They bring a lot of ships, and if they decide to use the dock, we can rain down fire arrows at them and destroy all their ships before they even land. Viserys shakes his head and says, no, the fishing village will be the perfect spot to land their troops. It has soft sand and without any defenders. I see. Should we send people there? No. It is a waste of men. Let them take over that place. We can take them over when the mercenary in the disputed land returns. For now, we need to use all of our people to defend the wall. What do you need? As long as you manage to defend this city, I will give you anything you want. Then, can you gather all the slaves? We need them as a meat shield. We did not have enough men to maintain both the wall and the ground. We need people to defend behind the gate in case they manage to breach it. I also need some of the slaves that know how to fight. Harlos frowns for a second before saying, it is dangerous to hand slaves a weapon. Don't worry, my lord. I will make sure they cannot do anything. Once they have some kind of thinking of using the weapon against us, I will kill them. Harlos thinks for a few seconds before nodding his head. Very well. I shall tell the others to let you borrow their slaves. We can buy more as long as we survive this battle. Viserys bows and says, thank you, my lord. You do not need to worry. We will win this fight and kick them out of our land. Good. I will leave this in your hand. Viserys nods and continues on planning the defense of Lee. The two of them did not see a few of the soldiers walk away from the wall and enter one of Lee's countless alleys. They walk toward one of the houses and see a man sitting in front of a fireplace. The man looks at them and says, "How is it?" One of the soldiers walks forward and says, "The Gonfalonier want to gather all slaves and give them weapons." "Really? Are you telling the truth?" "Yes, sir." The man smiles and says, "The gods are favoring us. Instead of stealing weapons, they land on our lap. However, I don't think they will give the best weapon. Maybe a spear and nothing else. That is already enough for us. I will tell the others to prepare and ensure we attack them where it hurts. Go back to your post and continue to watch over the Gonfalonier. However, make sure to come here alone next time rather than the three of you at once." The three soldiers nod their heads and leave the house to return to their post. The man drinks the wine and gets up from his chair. He walks toward a box and opens it up. He takes out a doll and a necklace from the box and kisses them one by one. "Don't worry. I shall avenge you too. I shall make that man suffer." He put the doll on the table and put the necklace around the doll before leaving the house. The air is tense as the defenders of Lee look at the army in front of them. The siege has already started, and now it is their job to defend the city for as long as possible before the reinforcements arrive. Viserys can see the Solaris army cutting down trees nearby, making ladders, and battering rams. He already calculates how many ladders or battering rams they can make with the trees around Lee. Because of this, he is already planning to burn as many of them as possible using fire arrows and oil, to delay their advancement as long as possible. However, there is something that confuses him. Why are they standing there, ready? Are they going to attack us now? Are they underestimating us too much? The Solaris army just arrived at their land, and Viserys knows that they need time to prepare and rest. However, seeing them ready to move, he is confused and angry. He was angry because he thought that the Solaris army underestimated him and Lee too much. However, before he can say more things, he hears a massive explosion happening around the city. He turns around and gapes at the explosions. However, he snaps from his thoughts when he hears screams from the slaves, and when he sees them, they are killing his soldiers and opening the gate. "Traitor! Kill them! Close the gate!" Sadly for him, that is when a loud war horn gets blown from the Solaris army. The battle starts before even the sun goes down. Chapter 30 Inches Charge. Enter the city before the gate closes. I shout as Willem blows a war horn while we are charging forward. With a spear in my hand, my horse charges forward alongside my unit. Our target: the Lysan soldiers. They are fighting the slaves who are holding the gate open for us. My horse crashes into them, and my spear pierces the head of the soldier in front of me. I can see some of the soldiers run toward me with their swords and attack my swords. Sadly for them, my horse is wearing diamond horse armor I got from the Nether Fortress. I thrust my spear to kill the enemy on the right and take out a sword from my inventory to kill the one on the left. Take over the wall. Freedom! Freedom! I shout and raise the slaves' morale. I know that it is more dangerous for a leader to lead his people from the front, but the morale boost from seeing your leader standing by your side is more important than getting hurt. They need to know I am a leader who will go alongside them through hell. And how can I do that? By fighting alongside them. Rally to the Lord! Rally to the Lord! Sir Willem roars as he orders the others to gather around me as I thrust my spear at the enemies around me. While I fight the enemies on the ground, our infantry enter the city and quickly fight their way to the wall. Attack! I look to the side and see another wave of people running toward the battlefield. They are a ragtag group of people wearing mismatched armor and holding all kinds of weapons. Some held sickles, some held chopping axes, and others held spears with daggers tied at the end of the pole. The one leading the group is the only one wearing proper leather armor and holding a sword. They are attacking from the other side of the wall and attack the rear of the enemies on the wall. With another boost in morale, my people release another roar, and we push our enemies to the corner. I keep thrusting my spear at the enemy that manages to slip away from the infantry around me. It does not take long until I hear a roar from the wall and see one of my men waving a head on a spear. It was the head of their commander. My grin gets bigger, and I take a deep breath. Soldiers of Lee, put down your weapon, and your life shall be spared. Anyone who is still holding their weapon shall be killed. Choose. It does not take them long to put down their weapons, and I raise my spear high. Victory. My people roar in happiness as I look at Sir Willem and say, Sir Willem, take care of this battlefield. I shall take the others to capture the magisters and release the slaves. No, your highness. I will come with you. I am your sworn guard, and I will uphold my duty until the day I die. I release a sigh and say, very well. Tell someone you trust to command the army and tell our unit to prepare to attack their palace and mansion. The rest of them can follow us. Yes, your highness. Sir Willem nods his head and talks to the others. While waiting for him, the one leading the second group walks toward me and now. Your highness. Raise your head and tell me your name, my friend. He looks at me in shock before quickly saying, I did not deserve to be your friend, your highness. I am just a lowly farmer. A farmer who put his life in line to fight alongside me. That means you are my friend. I can see him blush at my praise, and I only smile at him. So, what is your name? Ah, my name is Harlan, your highness. I see. So what do you want, Harlan? I raise one of my eyebrows when I see his expression change into a serious one. There is even a fire behind his eyes that I am familiar with, the eyes of an avenger. There are many of them in Solaris when I tell them about attacking this place. Take me with you, your highness. Take me with you to the palace and mansion of the Magister. I look at him for a couple of seconds before saying, who is it? Who do they take from you? He stays silent for a second before saying, my wife and daughter. I nod and say, very well. You can kill them. However, make sure to capture them first. Many of you want to see them executed. You will be the one executing them. Can you do it? He looks at me with determination and says, yes. Good. Follow my lead. I nod at Sir Willem, who is ready to go, and we march deeper into Lee. After a few minutes of marching, we arrive in front of another wall and gate, but just like before, it is already open, and I can see a familiar face waiting for me. Melisandre, it is good that you guys are already done as well. Melisandre smiles at me and says, of course, my lord. It is easier when we have an insider. Good. Are they the ones? Yes. They are all slave merchants, magisters, slave poachers, and owners of slave pillow houses. I look at them and say, prepare for execution. Take them away for now. The others build a platform for the execution. I walk toward the first magister of Lee, who spit on me. I raise my hand to stop Sir Willem from killing him and say, any last word? You are nothing but a coward, barbarian. You fought for your so-called freedom with nothing but a cowardly move. If you fight us face to face, you will not win. For our army is honorable and brave. I can only take a deep breath at his rambling of madness. He knows that he will die today and can only insult me. I can also hear the other magisters yelling at me with the same words. Insulting my way of fighting. Insulting us for not fighting them head on. Do they think that the army that surrendered will rebel and set them free if they say that? I look at them with contempt. Listen to your and your fellow magisters telling of courage and honor. Courage and honor. Courage and honor. I look at them with all the anger I can muster and raise my house, silencing them and the people watching us. Courage is fighting the kingdom that enslaves you no matter whether their army overshadows yours 2-1. You know nothing of courage. Honor is resisting a tyrant when all others suckle and grow fat on the hypocrisy he feeds them. You know nothing of honor. I turn around and look at the people in front of me. Most of them are the people who fight alongside me and their families. They are the ones who have honor and courage. They fight for their freedom. They show their courage by raising their banner against an odd. They are the ones who fight against a tyrant who has terrorized them for years. They are the ones who have honor. They have the honor to move forward and fight for a better future. I look back at the fat bastard and say, they are the ones who have honor and courage, not you. You are nothing but a fat tyrant who thinks of himself as a brave and honorable king, but in truth, you are nothing but a pig who grows fat from the suffering of the people. I look at Harlan and say, put them down like the animals they are. Chapter 313 POV celebrations are happening across the kingdom. Viserys has already called back all the merchants around the world to celebrate the victory over the Lee. It has been a week since he liberated Lee from the slaver and 3 days since he and his people defeated the mercenaries coming to their home. The mercenaries did not last long. When they see they cannot even get close to the dock without losing many of their ships, they start to turn around and run away. Sadly, because they ran away, some of the magistrates who had overseen the status of the disputed land managed to get away. However, it did not stop the others from declaring that Lee no longer exists and Solaris was officially born into this world. It has been 3 days since the first celebration happened, but the people still celebrate it with the same vigor as before. They do love their party, huh? Viserys looks around the city as he, Dany, and Melisandre walk through the street. Melisandre casts a spell that will change their face temporarily. He did not want to disturb the others with his presence, and he also wanted to enjoy his time without others kneeling in front of him and his sister. This is a massive victory against slavery, my lord. Of course, the party will be like this. Do you want me to tell them that the party is over? Nah, let them have it for today. However, make sure to tell them that tomorrow we will be busy, so no more parties. Of course, my lord. What kind of project do you have in mind? Well, before Viserys can say something, Dany pulls his hand and says, no work, brother. You promised to show me around. No work. Viserys laughs and says, sorry. He looks at Melisandre. We will talk about it later. Melisandre smiles and says, of course, my lord. She pats Dany on the head and says, sorry, princess. Let's have fun, okay? Let's go there. Dany points her finger at the marketplace where food stalls sell food to the people celebrating the victory. They walk to the nearby stall, and Dany looks around, a drool coming out of her mouth. Viserys laughs and pats her head. Take what you want, sister. Can I? Of course. Go ahead. Since he came to this world, Viserys has made sure Dany has a great childhood. He makes sure to give her the best food, education, and home life. Because of this, she became a foodie who loved to taste all kinds of food. Viserys needs to ensure there is no poison in the food and always carry milk in his inventory to cure the poison in case Dany eats one. Brother, I want this one and that one. Of course. Viserys walks toward the stall and says, excuse, good man, can I have 3 of those grilled fishes and 3 bowls of vegetable stews? Of course. Please return the bowl after you are done eating. Go ahead and take your seat. I will give you the food when it is done. He nods and walks toward the nearby table. Viserys can hear someone whispering something to his ear as they wait for the food to be ready. Valar Morghulis. Viserys takes out his sword and puts on his armor in a second, then places himself in front of Dany, pointing his sword at one and saying those words. He can see Melisandre also take out a dagger from her clothes and prepare magic to attack the intruder. He looks around and sees that they are surrounded. The people in the area look at them, and that makes him nervous. However, instead of attacking them, the man smiles at Viserys and says, we are here not to deliver a gift to you, Father Dragon. We come here to serve you. Viserys puts down his sword and says, faceless men, we are the people who deliver gifts of our gods to the mortals. He releases a sigh and returns to his seat while Dany looks at him in confusion with a little hint of fear. Brother. Viserys gives her a smile to make her relax and says, it is nothing, Dany. They are here not to hurt us. Really? Yeah, you did not need to worry. The stall owner from before walks toward their table and puts down the food. Viserys looks at him in shock and says, you are also one of them, huh? Of course, my lord. We are all. Viserys grunt a little and look at the man who greets them. Take a seat and have some talk. Of course, my lord. He takes a seat, and Viserys looks him right in the eyes. He already told you the reason why you are here, right? Yes. Our Lord already told us to protect you from people who try to give you a gift and be your eyes around the world. Good. Do you guys need instruction, or are you already spreading out and gathering information? He smiles and says, you did not need to worry, my lord. We are already everywhere, and we are watching and hearing. Tell us what you want to know, and we will deliver. Very well. What is your name? This one name is Jachun Hagar. You can call me Jachun, my lord. I see. Viserys releases a sigh and says, you can follow us for now. We will talk about the work later. For now, I need to take my sister around the city. Jachun nods his head, gets up, and says, we will be waiting for your command, my lord. He walks to the nearby alley and disappears into the alley. Viserys only sighs, looks at the food in front of him, and starts to eat them. He hums a little because the food is delicious. While eating his food, Viserys thinks of expandingly and making it into a powerhouse in the entire Essos and making sure the 7 kingdoms did not dare to attack his kingdom when his identity came out. As much as he wants to change his family name or something, the Targaryen name still carries some weight, and he needs that to gather allies against the White Walkers. So he needs to increase Solaris's military strength so that when the Seven Kingdoms have a great idea of invading his kingdom, they will find that his kingdom is not something that can be taken over easily. While thinking and eating, an idea enters his brain. Viserys looks at the stall owner and waves his hand. The man walks toward him and says, "My lord, tell Jachan to send someone to the Iron Islands. Tell him to watch out for a rebellion." Chapter 323 Pova group of people enter a room in a palace. They are members of something called the Small Council. It is a group of people that helps the king of the Seven Kingdoms rule the massive kingdom. However, lately, they are the ruler of the kingdom instead of only an advisor. The reason? The king did not want to rule. He only wants to fuck some whore, and fight in a war. However, something is different than a regular meeting. The king attends this meeting. He does not like it, but he attends it nonetheless. What is it? It is too early in the morning for me to attend a meeting. It is already afternoon, Your Highness. The Grand Maester says in a low voice. The king glares at him and waves his hand. Same difference. Robert looks at Jon Arryn and says, "What do you want to talk about, Jon? Spit it out so I can get back to sleep." Jon Arryn only releases a sigh and says, "Varys has news for you, Your Highness." He looks at the Master of Whisperer and says, "Go ahead and tell the others about the news." The bald eunuch nods his head and says, "Of course, my lord." Varys looks around for a few seconds and says, "Have you all heard the news of Lee getting conquered by a merchant family?" The majority of them nod their heads, but some of them look at him in confusion, including the king. A month ago, Lee was conquered by a merchant family called the Lunarian family. Now, Lee and the islands around it are called the Solaris Kingdom, and the head of the Lunarian family is the king of that place. Lee fall in a matter of a day. Robert looks at Varys in interest now. Really? How did they manage to do that? Lee did not have a lot of soldiers, but it should be enough for them to last for at least a week. That means there is something that lets us bypass the wall. They must go through a hidden passage. While Robert is not a great king, he is a competent general. There is a reason why he won the rebellion. Varys nods his head and says, "No, Your Highness. The slaves in Lee rebel against their masters and open the gate for the Lunarian army. Hey, their slaves finally stab them in the back, huh? Good for them. Is that all? It raises my mood, but it is not enough to call me here." Viserys takes a deep breath and says, "It involves the lord of the Lunaran family, Your Highness." What is it? Out with it already. The real identity of Vyn Lunaran is Viserys Targaryen. What? Robert slams his hand on the table and looks at Varys in anger. "Are you sure?" "Yes, Your Highness. At first, I hesitated because it could be only a coincidence, but when my little bird noticed Sir Willem Darrell calling him a king, I believed he was Viserys Targaryen as he is the only person Sir Willem calls a king." Robert grits his teeth as anger that he thought was already gone starts to resurface and roars loudly for him to kill all Targaryen he hears or sees. "Call the banner. Prepare the fleet. We will attack that place and kill that Targaryen. I will put his head on a pike in front of Red Keep." Jon quickly slams his hand on the table and says, "We cannot do anything rashly, Robert. We are just getting out of winter. We need time to gather all the troops we need. Give it some time before we go ahead and attack Lee. If Viserys and Daenerys are a couple of children who only try to survive, Jon will not agree with Robert's idea of attacking them." However, after hearing the news of Viserys declaring himself a king, he is afraid that he will gather enough troops to attack the Seven Kingdoms. When combining it with Dorne's still hating them, he knows that they will only have 5 regions that will take Robert's side. Dorne will side with Viserys, and the Iron Islands will stand aside and attack anyone who sails through their sea. That is enough odd for Jon to agree with Robert's idea. Robert looks at his second father in shock for a second before nodding his head. "Very well. We will wait and build our troops." He is surprised Jon agrees with him, but he welcomes that surprise. He looks at his brother, Stannis, and says, "Stannis, build more ships for our troops. Make sure you did not fuck this up, brother. I don't want another failure coming from you." Stannis holds back a snarl and only nods his head. "Very well, Your Highness." "Good. Now, I want you all to. Before he can finish his words, the door to the meeting door opens up, and a knight looks at them while panting. He is holding a letter. I am sorry, Your Highness. However, an emergency letter arrived from Westerland. It has the stamp of Lord Lannister. John takes the letters and reads them. The more he read it, the more he frowned at the content of the letter. What is it, John? What does the letter say? John gives the letter to Robert and says, "We will delay the attack against Lee longer because the Ironborn attacked Lannisport and burned its port to the ground, destroying most of the ships in that place." Robert throws the letter to the ground and roars, "Damn those iron bastards!" He slams his hand on the table, destroying a small chunk of the table. He takes a deep breath and says, "Call the banner. Stannis, call all the ships you have. We will destroy the Ironborn for daring to rebel against me." Stannis nods and says, "Very well. I will leave first to prepare the ships." He leaves the meeting room, leaving the others to do his duty. Robert looks at Grand Maester Pycelle and says, "Send a letter to all the lords to raise their banner against the Ironborn." The old maester nods his head and leaves the room to send the letters. Robert also turns around and says, "Make sure to prepare the troops. We will march as soon as possible." After saying that, Robert leaves the room and shouts, "Lancel, where are you, blonde fucker? I need my warhammer." Chapter 33 Inches I see. So they finally know about my identity, huh? Yes, my lord. They are about to attack us, but the Ironborn decide to burn the Lannisport. Oh, that is a new one. I know that the Ironborn will attack sooner or later. But this is great timing. My lord, is this the reason why you let Varys spies inform the usurper of your real identity? Does the Lord R'hllor show you a vision? I look at Melisandre and say, "No, Melisandre, it is just a prediction. Our merchant sails past their islands, and they see the Ironborn focusing on gathering woods and food rather than reading them. Isn't that because of the amount of ships sailing there? That is also it, but some of them will try to raid our ships even with those odds. There is a reason why the Ironborn is known as the most reckless pirate in the entire world. They did not see being drowned as something to be feared. They see it as a blessing as they will return their drowned god embrace. That is true. However, not all of them are like that. That is true. However, the pirates who truly believe in their so-called god usually take a high risk to get a high return. That is why I know that they are preparing something. Those fanatics do not do anything when our merchants sail past their islands. I bullshit my way through this conversation. Jachun might not believe me, but Melisandre will believe me because, in her eyes, I am always right because I am the chosen one or some shit. That is a little bit annoying because I cannot make any jokes around her as she takes them as real. I see. As expected of you, my lord. See. Right. Anyway, I am gambling that they will rebel or at least cause enough problems to give us enough time to build our strength. However, it will cut our trade with the North and Dorne. The North. Yes. Dorne. Not so much. With my identity spread, I have a feeling that they will come to us and ask for an alliance. Dorne will come here and ask for an alliance between our two houses to get revenge on the Lannister. They will not blatantly create this alliance but will not reject our merchant just because the king forbids it. That is true. Should we focus on Dorne now? I think for a second before shaking my head. No. Instead, we will focus on further south. She frowns at my answer and says, Summer Islands. We will let Dorne approach us first. We do not want to look like someone desperate for customers. We will let them approach us and focus on expanding our trading route. Not only that, but I think it is time for us to destroy the Stepstones, at least their pirate group. What do you want to do, my lord? I lean forward and say, we need to create a better trade route between Braavos and Solaris. To do that, we must destroy the Stepstones pirates or at least make them migrate to Tyrosh. With them migrating to the east side, it will let us take care of the west side of Stepstones and make it a great trade route between Braavos and Solaris. She nods and says, however, it will take time and possibly a lot of casualties, my lord. That is true. However, we can reduce that number of casualties by providing them with health potions. The diluted version will do. We found that adding water could create a weaker version of the health potion. 1 bucket of water per bottle will create healing potions that will heal a small wound rather quickly but cannot heal a major wound with only 1 bottle of minor health potion. However, drinking 2 to 3 of them will heal the wound slowly. This is great news for us because, with this, we can give 2 potions to each soldier who joins the military. That means we need to recruit more people to our military. You are right. Tell Sir Willem to send someone to do some recruitment. I look at Jochun and say, make sure no spies can enter our military, Jochun. The faceless man smiles and says, of course. I shall not let any rats enter our house, my lord. Good. I lean over my chair and say, is there anything else I should know? Jochun nods his head and says, yes, my lord. Do you know that Illyrio Mopatis wants to meet you? I frowned at that name because it sounded very familiar. Who is that? He is one of the most powerful magisters of Pentos, my lord. He is known as Cheesemonger. Ah, him. He is the one who made Canon Viserys to sell his sister to the Dothraki. What does he want from me? We do not know at the moment. However, we know that he wants to search for dragon eggs that he can use as a gift to bind you to his bidding. Yeah, he has 3 dragon eggs, right? No, he has yet to get those eggs. I wonder where he got those eggs so I can take them for myself. Can you watch over him, Jochun? If he manages to get any dragon eggs, steal the eggs. Can you do that? Of course, my lord. Good. Anything else? Seeing no one speak, I nod and get up from my chair. I will leave the rest to you guys for now. Are you doing some exploration once again, my lord? Yes. I want to explore the end. Melisandre frowns at my words and says, is there anything to explore in that place? There is nothing but nothingness in that place. Ah, you did not know it, but there is a section that we can explore. Don't worry. I will be alright. I think it is time for me to explore the end and get Elytra to let me fly. After getting that thing, I only need to get the Totem of the Undying, and everything will be perfect. Chapter 34 Inches Arg. Fuck off. I shout while building a shelter that prevents me from flying high. I take a long rope from my inventory and tie it around the stone pillar beside me, then, I tie the other end around my waist. Fighting against Shulker is something that I hate, even when I only fight them in the game. Their attack did not hurt, but the floating curse made it hard for me to move around as it did not let me move around, making me vulnerable to more attacks from them. However, I have a plan to fight against them. I take out my arrow and bow, take out another rope, and tie it to the arrow. If I cannot move around while floating, I only need to create something that lets me move around while floating in the air. I destroy the cobblestone above me and let myself float into the air. I make sure to pour some water for an emergency scenario. I chug a vial of potions as the shulker shoots me with their loogie. I look at one of the shulkers and shoot an arrow next to it. I grin and start to pull myself toward it. Surprise. Bitch. Raw. I stab my sword and continue stabbing until the shulker disappears. I take the loot and look at the rest of the shulkers above me. I grin at them and say, happy hunting. It might be my imagination, but I think one of them looks at me in fear. I release a sigh and stab my sword on the ground as I pant from exhaustion. This place is too damn tall. Why did someone build something this tall? Wait. They do it for the shulker. Ugh. I shake my head as I see the ship floating in the void not too far away from the tower I just climbed. Goddamn it. I shout in frustration when I see another army of shulkers on the wall of the ships, ready to shoot me with their weird-looking attack. We are lucky there is no day and night cycle in this place, or thousands of mobs will appear out of thin air and attack me. I release a sigh and create a box made of cobblestone. I make sure not to close the roof and leave one block missing as I take out a campfire from my inventory. I take fish and beef from my inventory and place them on the campfire. I will climb that thing after I rest. It has been hours since I explored this place to search for that damn ship. I spent 2 hours searching for Elytra in the game, but here. I think it will take me more than 12 hours before I finally encounter one of these things. I am lucky that this end city has one, or I need to spend days in this place. Or maybe I already spent a day. I don't know. I did not make a clock to notice it. This is what happens when the entire place is pitch black and floating islands as far as eyes can see. I release a sigh and let my body rest on the floor. Just like in the Nether, you cannot sleep in bed in the end region. However, you can still sleep on the floor. That's right. I can sleep on the floor without any problem. As long as there is nothing underneath me, it is good. I already tested it. Lucky for me, I wear full diamond armor with full enchantment. Without that thing, I would have died. I shake my head and enjoy the warmth of the campfire. Another climb and another fight. After that, I take out a firework in my hand and smile. I want to fly and leave this place. For now, I need to regain my stamina and enjoy some steak. I shoot another arrow and hit the wall next to a shulker. I pull myself and arrive next to the damned shulker. After stabbing the thing to the dead, I release a sigh and sit on the platform. Even this ship is too damn high. What kind of person builds these things? Are they a giant? Maybe. There are a lot of things we did not know about the Minecraft world after all. While sitting on this platform, an idea entered my brain like a thunder striking down my head. I put cobblestones on top of me but left one of the blocks so I could build something on top. Yeah. I can build my way to the top. When I was still in the tower, I was afraid of running out of building blocks, but here, I can use all the building blocks. It will take a long time to reach the top, but that is because I need to create a barrier around my tower so the shulkers cannot attack me. After an hour of building and jumping, I reach the top and use a pickaxe to break the last block to the treasure room. However, as I jump to the treasure room, I see 5 shulkers waiting for me. I take my sword and roll to the left to dodge the incoming attack. I dash forward and thrust my sword at the first shulker before it can close its shell. I push deeper and see the shulker disappear into thin air. I quickly jump away when I feel something coming from my back, just to see a projectile barely fly past me. I take out my crossbow and shoot at the shulker to my left before rolling away when I see another attack coming. I dash once again, swing my sword at the shulker near me, and thrust it toward the second shulker next to the first one. I take out my bow and arrow and shoot the last shulker before it can shoot its attack. I release a sigh and put away my weapons before walking to the frame on the wall. I smile a little and pick it up. I put away my chest plate and equip the elytra. After I had equipped it, I already knew how to use it. I nod and break the block above me to reach the deck of the ship. I walk to the edge of the ship and take the dragon's head. I take out a firework, jump, and use it. I open my wing and glide through the air. I can feel the air running past me as I glide toward the portal that will take me back home. Diamond set, and elytra. The only thing I need to get now is the netherite set and the totem of the undying. However, I need to make sure there is someone other than me in this world. Because I never saw any living being other than the animals in this world, I thought only I or anyone I take would be the only humans in this world. I need to find a village or two to make sure the pillager exists, which also confirms that the woodland mansion also exists. Chapter 35 Daenerys Targaryen, Princess of Solaris Kingdom brother is the best. Again. I clap in happiness as my brother laughs and pats my head. I like it when my brother laughs like that. His laugh makes my tummy warm and happy. However, I love his head pat the best. His hand is warm, and he pats my head gently. It is the best. And now he can fly. Making him a real dragon. A lot of people say that my brother and I are dragons, but we are human. That is what my brother says when I ask him about it. Brother is never wrong. He is the best, after all. However, seeing him flying around makes him look like a dragon. Maybe he is human and has become a dragon. Will I become one, also? I cannot wait to grow up and become a dragon just like him. I am sorry, Danny. I think that is the last one. It has been an hour since we flew around. I pout at his words. I still want to fly. How about this? Let's eat something, okay? I will create cookies for you. Cookies. I love cookies. Big brother always gives me the best. Cookies. The servants can make one, but it is not as delicious as the one he makes. However, only 2 of them. What? Why? I want to eat 5 of them. Brother laughs and pats my head. Very well. However, I will give you the other 3 after you are done with your study. Deal. I quickly run back to the castle and enter the study room. I can see Melly already waiting for me. Melly, let's start our studies. Oh my, you must like to study, huh? Brother promised me cookies. She laughs and says, you must love your brother. I love him so much. That is good because you will be his wife in the future. What do you mean? She pats the chair next to her. and I quickly take a seat. Let me tell you the history of your family. Like my brother. And also your parents. Melly tells me about my family and what kind of family we are. She also told me about my future and how I would be V's wife and queen. I don't mind. Brother already told me what love is, and I love brother VY. I will be his wife, and the two of us will have many children. The two of us will make a big happy family. I shudder a little and drop the stone block to the ground. What was that? It is as if a cold wind passes by, but it is spring, going to summer. There is rarely a cold wind past this time of the year. I shake my head and pick up the stone before jumping to the roof part of the Grand Temple. As a Grand Temple, it needs to be beautiful and well, grand. Not only that, but as a god of fire, it needs to have some kind of burner on the top of the building that will be lit up when the sun rises and put out when the sun goes down. The others can build the other, but they need me to build the tower, which needs to be tall. I already created a tower and only needed roofing to protect the fire from rain and wind. I put all the stone it needed to create a roof and covered the side with glass, but I made sure to use only a slab on the bottom of the glass to let oxygen enter the area and smoke leave it. After doing that, I got down using the spiral staircases I created while building this tower. Walking near the bottom, I can see a room for the servants who will clean this tower every day. I make sure to put beds for them to sleep and lanterns for them to light the room. The tower is the most important thing, according to Melisandre, and that is why I am the one creating this place so it can be done as fast as possible after the blueprint has been made and the location selected. I shake my head and leave the tower before the other builders arrive to continue their work. According to the chief builder, they will be done in 7 to 10 years, depending on the weather and material. The material is not a problem that only leaves the weather, and it is something that I cannot change if the weather gets worse. At least we start this just after winter. That means we have years before we get another winter. Your Highness. Crap. I look at Sir Willem, who gives me a stern frown and says, Sir Willem, what do I say about working on your own? Not to work on my own because I am a king. Yes, I know that the tower is important as it is the job God gave you, but you can ask the worker to work harder. I know. However, I did have some free time, and I thought building this tower would be a great idea. Willem releases a sigh and says, Only you, Your Highness. Only you who think building a tower is a good thing to do while having free time. So, is there something I need to know? Yes. I come here because Captain Harlan and his crew managed to take over a group of pirates. He wants to show you something, Your Highness. Right, Harlan. He is the leader of the slaves from Lee who helped us take over the city. He is also the one who executes all the magisters we capture. He is also a great sailor. Because of this, I appointed him as a captain in one of the Navy units. After 2 months of grueling training, his first deployment was 2 days ago, and now he is back with something. Very well, let's go. We walk to the dock, and after a few minutes of walking, we arrive at the dock, and we can see Harlan and his crew already waiting for us. However, my attention lands on a new group of longships on the back and a group of people. Harlan quickly kneels in front of me when he sees me coming. Your Highness. As he kneels and says those words, the others follow his lead and kneel in front of me. Raise Captain Harlan and tell who they are. Yes, Your Highness. He gets up and says. They are the group of people captured by the Greyjoy pirates, Your Highness. Greyjoy pirates. Where do you fight them? Are they sailing here? Harlan gives me a nod and says. Yes, Your Highness. However, their target is not us but rather Tyrosh and Myr. They want to sell these people to the slavers in those places. We manage to defeat and rescue them as we fight the pirates who think that we are an easy target. How many ships are there? I can see 7 longships docked, but I don't know how many of them you fight. We fight against 12 ships, Your Highness. Sadly, 5 of their ships are sinking because we rammed into their ship. I nod, and I look at the new people. As for you guys, what do you want? Also, where are you coming from? Can you tell me? The oldest woman stands up and says. We are from Arbor, Your Highness. The Greyjoy burn our villages after taking over the city and burn and take over all the Redwyne fleet. That is a bad news. Chapter 36. This is not just bad news, it's a potential threat to our trade. While it may not directly affect us now, the long-term implications are significant. The sea route between Solaris and the Summer Isles, a vital trade route, is under threat due to the need to resupply at Arbor Island. Because of this problem, we need them to set sail through the longer route without resupplying. That can be easily taken care of for our merchants. The problem appears when the merchant is from the Summer Isles. They could not go through that long voyage because they did not have the Minecraft chest like we do, which can store a large amount of food and ensure it does not spoil. With pirates in Arbor, we know that they will attack any ships getting closer to that island. That will create a problem because the Summer Islanders are an important trade partner. I will discuss this later with the others. For now, I need to take care of the new refugee. I look at them and say, "So, what do you want to do from now on? We can take you back to Dornay if you want." The woman quickly shakes her hands and says, "Please, Your Highness, please take us in your land. We did not have anything left back in Westeros. Please take us. We will work hard to pay this debt." I nod my head and say, "What are you guys good at? Any farmers? Anyone who is good at cooking? You know what? We need farmers, cooks, and someone who can sew. Whoever wants to work on the farm, go to the left." I see 20 women go to the left. Anyone who can cook, go to the right. 22 of them walk to the right, leaving 10 women left behind. "And the rest of you will sew. All right. The one who can cook can stay in the empty barrack for now. Harlan, take them and make sure they have somewhere to sleep before we build them a house." "Yes, Your Highness." He turns around and says, "Follow me." I look at the rest of them and say, "The rest of you, come with me. I will prepare you for your new job and home." I can hear them thanking me, and we depart to the palace. While riding the horse, Willem gets toward me and says, "What do you want to do with them, Your Highness?" I will let the one who can sew go to the temple. They need someone who can repair their clothes and make them new clothes for the priest and anyone who wants to join the temple. "Ah, for the Grand Temple, Your Highness. And the regular one. As for the one who can farm, I am thinking of sending them to the Lunaran city and taking care of the farm there." "Ah, I see. Lunarians is the place where our main trade goods come from. However, that is from the underground farm. After switching some of the soil from the Minecraft world into the real one, the land in Lunaran starts to get fertile and ready for farming. We need people on the surface farm. They will be the farmers who help cultivate the land." "I see. I understand. I will tell the governor of Lunaran to take care of them. I leave someone in Lunaran to take care of the territory and ensure everything is going all right. At the moment, I call the one taking care of the territory as a governor before I give him a title or something." "What about the other group, Melisandre? Will the temple accept them? We cannot take them as a nun and priestess, but we can accept them as servants. They are not part of the temple, but they will have work in the temple. As you said, we need people who know how to sew, but it is not a permanent job. I think they will agree to be people who clean the temple." "That's good. Now, while we are all here, I need to ask your opinion about the Greyjoy pirates that take over Arbor Island." I look at Horo and say, "What do you think about this, Horo?" Horo, the new Minister of Trade, looks at me for a second before saying, "You are right, Your Highness. It will be a problem for their merchants. However, it is not a problem for our merchants. Instead of getting their merchants to us, what about only trading with them and maybe taking their ships with us to share a supply between two groups for a fee? That is a great idea." I look at Lena, my new Minister of Treasury, and say, "How much do you think we need to ask them for the supply? We can increase the food price because of the situation. However, we need them to know the situation first. They need to be the ones approaching us before we offer this solution. They need to trade with other places in Essos, after all. When they approach us, we can put the price. As for the price, we can ask for 20 rubies per ship. It is cheap enough for them to agree but not too cheap either." I nod my head and say, "That is good. Horo, tell the merchants who are about to depart to Summer Isles about this." "Yes, Your Highness." I nod and look at Sir Willem. "Tell the other navy to make sure they watch out for the Greyjoy pirates. Make sure they set sail in groups and never alone. It is known that pirates will target a lone ship. We did not want that." "Of course, Your Highness." "What is the plan for facing them?" "Kill on sight. Leave no pirates behind. Rescue the prisoner if you can, but if you cannot do that, Send someone who can swim to retrieve them when their ships sink. Sir Willem nods his head. I understand, Your Highness. Good. Now, I look at Jachun and say, is there something you want to tell me, Jachun? The faceless man nods his head and says, one of us hears that the Red Viper will set sail here. Why? He wants to see what kind of person you are, and he also wants to know if you are the better choice than the false Red Dragon. False Red Dragon. Wait. Don't tell me. By false Red Dragon, you mean young Griff, right? He looks at me in surprise and nods his head. He is called young Griff, my lord. Damn it. I don't need another problem to arise. I don't need a Blackfire as my neighbor. Chapter 373 POV. The situation in the Seven Kingdoms gets worse by the day. Unlike in the canon timeline, where the Greyjoy does not do too much damage, it is different in this world. The Ironborn managed to take over the entire island of Arbor and burn half of Lannisport, leaving the eastern part of Seven Kingdoms vulnerable to attack. Because of this, the Royal Navy struggled to get through the formation the Greyjoy created in the southeast of Seven Kingdoms. The only reason the Ironborn did not manage to take over the southern and even the western parts of the Seven Kingdoms is because of Solaris and their navy, who attack any Greyjoy ships in sight. Every pirate group that sets sail too far west will encounter ships from the Solaris Kingdom, losing their ships and crews to Viserys and his army. This news reaches the ear of Balon Greyjoy, the self-proclaimed King of the Iron Islands. What do you mean that the Second Fleet is defeated? Balon slams his hand on the table and looks at all the lords who attend the meeting. We sent 50 ships to that damned place, and you tell me they cannot even defeat those bastards. Lord Swain Botley looks at Balon and says, it looks like we cannot defeat them because their ships have a greater quality than us, my lord. Their ships use the same type of wood the Summer Islander uses in their ship. Balon frowns at those words and says, all of them. We managed to capture one of the ships and bring it back here. It is in bad shape when we manage to capture it, but it can still set sail with minimal repair while on the sea. That is how tough their ships are. Facing them face to face will be hard. Either we lure them to the coast to fight them on the beach or ambush them and burn their ships before running away. Balon taps his finger in frustration because his grand plan starts to crumble, and all of this happens because of a small kingdom on the other side of the continent. They need to take over Estermont Island, north of Stepstones, and fortify the sea around the area to make sure the rest of the Royal Navy cannot go south. After that, his fleet shall set sail to that island and attack King's Landing. By taking over the capital city and kidnapping the Queen and royal children, he will win this war and be known as the King of Iron Islands and Squid King. However, that plan already turns to dust when the Solaris Kingdom gets involved by attacking their ships. As long as they can go through the sea between Solaris and Stepstones, they can easily take over that important island from Baratheon, but the first part is something that prevents them from taking over that island. What should we do, my lord? Do you want me to take over another fleet and attack them one last time? As long as the wind is on our side, we will be able to defeat them and even take over their ships. Balon stays silent for a few seconds before shaking his head. No, we will not attack them. We already have a great advantage after taking over the Arbor. We need to focus on the north now. We need to secure our territory first, and the only territory that can harm us comes from Seaguard. Balon looks at his oldest son and says, Roderick, my son, takes the Third Fleet and attacks Seaguard. Balon's son and heir, Roderick Greyjoy, walks forward with a massive grin on his face. Leave it to me, father. They will not know what hit them. May the drowned god be with you. Roderick nods his head and leaves the war room to prepare for his departure. As for the rest of you, go and show the stag what Ironborn made off. Lannister still has a lot of riches we can take. Robert slammed his hand on the table after receiving a letter from King's Landing. Once again, his brother disappointed him. Even with the power of the royal fleet, he cannot defeat the Ironborn who take over the Arbor. Damn it. Useless. Calm down, Robert. You cannot blame Stannis for this. The Ironborn will fight tooth and nail against him to make sure we cannot take back Arbor from them. Robert grumbles at those words and says, and because of his incompetence, we will be delayed in attacking the Ironborn. No, I know Stannis will destroy the Ironborn sooner or later. Lord Paxter and his family managed to get away before the Ironborn take over the island. He managed to retreat to Aldtown and is currently rebuilding his fleet. Finally, some good news. All the letters are about Solaris defeating the Ironborn, making me want to hurl. The thought of Targaryen helping him is something that makes him sick. It was something that made him angry and frustrated just thinking about the Targaryen helping his kingdom even once. Lately, however, it has been all the news that they are helping the Seven Kingdoms by destroying all Ironborn who are trying to sail to King's Landing. Being in debt to his sworn enemy makes him want to hurl. While Robert does not want them to help, Jon Arryn is glad for the Solaris Kingdom to attack all Ironborn, who are getting closer to their territory. They can now focus on marching and have not to worry about the Ironborn to reach King's Landing. Now, only Stannis starts to hurry up and defeat the Ironborn before they reach Seaguard and meet with Eddard and his banner. I activate my fireworks and fly into the air. I dodge all the incoming arrows and block them using my shield before landing on one of the ships. Die, demon. I look at the incoming pirate and block his attack before thrusting my sword at him. I can see 3 more pirates running toward me. I block the first pirate with my shield and let the other 2 hit me. Their weapon hits my armor, and I make a sweeping motion to slice their neck. I can see my people arrive and start to surround me and attack the pirates, showing them no mercy. Please don't go alone, Your Highness. You make our job harder. I smile at Sir Willem and say, sorry about that. I will tone it down a bit from now on. I get too excited and forget about my safety. Make sure to remember that, Your Highness. At least I am not hurt, right? And that is because you are lucky. What if they manage to hit the unprotected part of your body? The armor still gives me protection. That is not an excuse. I laugh a little at his words. The armor from Minecraft is great. It will protect me from any attack that hits my armor and reduce the damage that lands on my unprotected parts, like my neck, arms, and face. So far, a regular weapon cannot even pierce through my diamond armor. As long as my opponent is not using a weapon made of Valyrian steel, I am good with diamond armor set. Your Highness. I snap from my thoughts and see one of the soldiers standing in front of me. What is it? We found something that requires your attention, Your Highness. Very well. Lead the way. I follow the soldiers to the treasure room of the ship. I can see a chest full of coins and spices. What kind of coin are they? They are made of bronze, or maybe it is pure copper. I don't know. The 2 of them look similar to me. They are a coin from Volantis, Your Highness. I was a slave from Volantis. I know those coins are like the back of my hands. I see. Does that mean they are pirates from that place? I don't think so, Your Highness. I think they are slave traders who use pirate flags. They are not as good of a fighter to be real pirates. I blink for a second and say, why do they do that? Do they not know that being a pirate will get them attacked by us? I don't think they know about it, Your Highness. Putting pirate flags on their sails will deter ships. We are the weird ones who hunt pirates openly. Usually, ships will leave pirate ships alone. Not only that, pirates will not attack fellow pirates unless they enter another pirate's territory. Ah, so in their eyes, putting a pirate flag is better than not getting attacked by others, huh? Yes, right. Will Volantis attack us because we are attacking their slave merchants? What am I saying? Let them come. We will take care of them. The man nods his head proudly and says, of course, Your Highness. We will destroy them and free the slaves. Right. What do you want to show me? Oh, right. This is the one I want to show you, Your Highness. He takes a massive box of treasure in this room and places it on the table. I open the box and widen my eyes when I see what is inside the box. Dragon egg. 3 of them. Chapter 38. I look at the 3 dragon eggs in front of me and sigh. Are they the eggs the cheesemonger gives Dany in the canon timeline? I don't know, but it is very likely the case. 3 dragon eggs, and I can feel magic oozing out of them. Brother. I snap from my thoughts and see Dany open the door to my office with a massive smile on his face. I smile at her and get up from my chair. She jumps at me, and I catch her before spinning her around. How is your study, Dany? Great. I study hard, VY. Good girl. Hey. Dany chuckles as I pat her head gently. I look to the side and see Melisandre looking at us with a smile on her face. She is a good student to have, my lord. She now knows her number. Really? I look at Dany and see her nod her head vigorously. She then starts to count to 30. I cannot help but hug her more when she looks that serious. She is just too cute. You are so smart, Danny. Hey. I kiss her cheek and take out a cookie from my inventory. I sit on the couch and put her on my lap. I feed her the cookie from my hand as I pat her head. Melisandre sits in the opposite direction of me and says, "While we are here, can I ask you about the dragon eggs, my lord?" Before I can say something, Danny looks at me in surprise and says, "Dragon eggs? Why? Can I see them?" "They are over there, Danny." She looks at the 3 eggs on my table and walks toward them. "But they look like stones." "They are, right. However, touch the eggs, Danny." She touches one of the eggs and widens her eyes. It is warm. And that is because there is a baby dragon inside each of those eggs. "Ooh, brother. Can I take one of them?" "I want a dragon." "Sure. All of them are for you. I already have one for myself." "Really? Can I have them all?" I walk toward her and kneel next to her. "Of course. However, you need to promise me to take care of them when they hatch, okay?" I promise. I will be the greatest mother." "Good." I look at the servant that comes alongside Danny and Melisandre and say, "Can you take them to Danny's room for me, Alicia?" Alicia is a former slave who was born out of a slave. She did not have a name when she arrived, and I needed to give her one. After I free her, she becomes a loyal servant to my family, taking care of Danny when Melisandre is busy with her duties. "Of course, my king." Danny happily takes one of the eggs, and Alicia takes the other 2 before leaving the room. "Are you to give your little sister all of them, my lord?" Even when she manages to hatch them all, 3 dragons are dangerous to a little girl. I shake my head and say, "No. Those eggs are hers. They will be her children in another life, and I know it will be the same in this one. She will still be Daenerys, the mother of dragons." She looks at me with a smile and says, "As expected of you, my lord." Then I will gladly tell you about the information Lord R'hllor gave to me. Oh, he showed me a vision that lets you hatch the eggs. He showed me how you set sail for the doomed city of Valyria. He showed me how you battle against shadow creatures that guard that cursed city and win using a sword that releases light and burns any dark creatures. Is it an effect of smite enchantment? Combined with fire aspect. I have the books from the fishing season and only need to use them. I need to make a new sword for it. However, he showed me that before you set sail, you will do something first. This vision is about you taking a journey in the second world to the south and finding the other inhabitants of the world. They shall sell you a map that will take you to your trial. You shall come out of that trial victorious and obtain the material to create a new weapon. New weapon. In Minecraft. What? Also, what does she mean by a trial? Does she mean the Wither? No. The Wither does not have any connection to the villagers. That is what she means by the other inhabitants of that world, right? Then what kind of trial is it? Oh, maybe it was the ocean monument. That can be counted as a trial, right? You can buy the map from one of the villagers. That means I need to bring a lot of milk and potions. Trident is also a weapon I cannot craft with the crafting table. The mace shall be your greatest weapon against the last guardian in that cursed city. A mace. What? I frowned at that news because I knew nothing about mace in Minecraft. Is there any update that I did not know about? I know that I take some time off from that game to focus on my work and life, but I don't think I take a break long enough for them to make something big. I scratch the back of my head and release a sigh. I will think about it later. I hope the villagers can talk and not only use HNNN as their speech. I did not speak to villagers, after all. I speak Simlish, though. I shake my head and say, "Anything else, Melisandre?" "Yes. After defeating the cursed city's last guardian, you shall take a glass bottle filled with red liquid. That is the key to hatching the 3 eggs. Is there anything regarding the Ender egg?" "None, my lord. I am sorry. It looks like you need to follow the direction of the Dragon Queen regarding her hatchling. That means I keep feeding it my blood and submerging it into lava." "Gotcha. Very well." I get up and say, "I will take some training with Sir Willem to prepare for my journey because I know that you want me to go alone. That is the vision Lord R'hllor gave to me. Right. Well, at least there will not be too many monsters coming at me when I go alone." Chapter 39 inches. Here you go, my lord. I take the bundle of things Melisandre prepares for me. What is this? It is a special food that will increase your awareness and can grant you an ability to see in the dark as if it is a day, my lord. It is a secret recipe from a shy. Don't worry. This is something that will not harm you, as anyone can consume it. It is not made of black magic of a shy. I nod my head and say, I see. I will use it when the time requires it. She gives me a coy smile that makes me skip a beat for a moment. When you return triumphantly, I shall reward you with something you will never forget for the rest of your life, my lord. Right. I might say it like that, but I cannot help but think of what kind of reward she will give me. My hormonal brain already creates a wild scenario, but I push it away before it can create a more outrageous scenario. Why can't I come with you? I want to see Spotty. Spotty is the cat I gave to her when she was a child. It is an ocelot kitten I picked when I was exploring the jungle biome back in the Minecraft world. The kitten has been her friend since she was a child. I want to bring the kitten into this world but keep forgetting about it. There is also a problem of being afraid of the ocelot going feral instead of a docile creature like it is in the Minecraft world. I am afraid I cannot take you with me, Danny. I kneel in front of her and give her an apologetic smile. Why? Because the place I will visit will be dangerous. I cannot protect you, and I don't want you to be hurt. She pouts at me and releases a sad noise, but she nods her head in understanding. I understand. I will stay here and be a good girl. So you need to bring me a big cake. I laugh and stand up. Of course. I will bring you a big cake when I return. Promise. I give her a grin and pat her head. I promise. Good. I look at my people and say. Then, I will be going. Take care of our kingdom while I am away. It might be short for them, but for me, it will be a whole month's journey to the unknown, and I will miss them. I opened the portal and walked through it. When the portal behind me closes up, I take a deep breath and enjoy the smell of wheat ready to be harvested and ripe fruits that release a sweet scent that makes anyone drool. This is my farm and my second home, which is far away from home. This is my safe haven and place for me to relax and grow. This is the place where I started my second chances in life and the place where I almost died multiple times. Hey. I chuckle a little because this place is the beginning and the end. Life and death. I blink for a second in realization. I just entered my edgy stage. What I just think is something that can be put in the I am 14 and this is deep section of Reddit and get a lot of upvotes or something. I shake my head and walk to my mansion to prepare for my journey. I have two options in this journey. The first one is going the normal way by traveling through the overworld. The upside. I can sleep and easily build an underground bunker when the sun is about to go down. Not only that, there are a lot of things that I can kill in case my food is not enough. The downside. It is the longest route. The second route is to go through the Nether. The upside. It is the fastest way of traveling long distances in Minecraft world. I can go through 1,000 kilometers in 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the terrain and mobs. I also can use Elytra to fly through the Nether. The downside. The Nether is a hostile environment. Not only because of the hostile mobs but also because of the dangerous terrain. If I am lucky, I will encounter nothing too dangerous while flying, but if I am unlucky, I will encounter Ghast and Blaze on the way, which can shoot me down while I am flying. There is also a problem of me flying past the village when I return to the overworld. As I arrive in my room, I sit on the chair and take out a piece of paper. I write the pros and cons of my options and think of it for a few seconds. I think I will go through the overworld. The part where I can skip a village by going through the Nether is not something I want to do. Not only that, but I also prefer sleeping in a bed rather than a hot rock. I have a lot of paper from the sugarcane farm and gunpowder from the express farm. I can fly through the overworld and look down to watch out for a village. With that plan in mind, I walk to the basement, where I think of which goods I need to bring. Food is a must. That means I must bring a lot of meat and bread on this journey. I will also bring a lot of vegetables. I walk to the crafting table and put 2 shulker shells and a chest on the crafting table. A second later, a shuckler box appeared in front of me. I take it and place it on the ground. I fill the box with the foods and create a second shulker box. I look at all the large chests in here before walking to the cobblestone chest. These will be the building blocks I can throw away without regret. Usually, it is either cobblestone or dirt, but because dirt is valuable in the real world, I store it here in case I want to expand the secret farm. I move all the building blocks and store them in the second shulker box. I create 3 more shulker boxes and fill the third one with potions and a lot of milk. The fourth one will be my crafting essentials, like some logs, iron blocks, gold blocks, and some diamonds. The last one I decided to save for now. I don't know if there will be new blocks I never encounter, and I want to take them back for decoration or crafting. After checking for one last time, I nod and equip my best armor except for the chestplate. I put on the elytra and walk to the rooftop of my mansion. With my firework in my right hand and shield in my left hand, I jump and fly away to a new adventure. Chapter 40. I feel the wind fly past me as I fly across the land. I can see grassland and forest fly by me as I continue to fly using my elytra. I widen my eyes and see a beautiful forest made of cherry blossom trees not too far away. I twist my body to slow my flight speed and descend to the ground. I look at the trees with a smile and take out my diamond pickaxe. I chop the biggest tree and use my axe to destroy its leaves. After a few minutes of shearing and chopping 3 trees, I manage to get 5 saplings. After storing the saplings in my inventory, I can see 2 foxes looking at me curiously. I smile and take out berries from my inventory. I sit on the ground and offer them the berries. I can see them approach me slowly, and when they see that I am not attacking them, they eat the berries in my hand. However, I widen my eyes when I see one of the foxes start to hump the other fox. I turn around and release a sigh. Unlike in the game, where the animals look at each other for a second and produce a child, this world is different. They do not skip the process of making babies. They only skip waiting for the baby to come out. That means they still need to fuck, but the babies will come out instantly. I shake my head and take out my fireworks. I take out a compass and face the south before using my fireworks to continue to fly. It has been a week since I started my journey, but I never once encountered any village. At least as far as my eyes can see. I even used a land route yesterday to ensure I did not miss the village, but still nothing. For now, I will follow Melisandre's instructions to continue going south, and I hope that I can finish this journey in 30 days. I also need to search for something to kill tonight to increase the durability of my elytra. I am lucky to put mending and unbreaking in that thing. A village. After flying for almost all day, I can finally see a small village in the middle of a meadow. However, my smile turns into a frown when I see the villagers running around while a group of people with banners charge at the village. A raid. What is with my luck today? I shake my head and quickly fly toward the village. I make sure my shield is ready in my left arm and prepare to take out my sword and switch my elytra when I land. A few seconds later, I land on the ground and appear between the villagers and the illager. I can hear a surprised yelp from the villagers. I turn around and say, I come here to help. I can see the villagers look like normal humans. The only difference is that they have the same height. It is rather creepy seeing all the people have the same height. Thank you, stranger. Please help us fight those cursed humans. Cursed humans. I shake my head and put that aside for now. I will ask them later. I take out my bow and shoot at the incoming illagers. The villagers holding a bow and arrow also shoot the villagers with arrows. The arrow hit a few illagers, but the bull-like creature managed to run past the arrow as it charged at me. However, before it can get close to the village, the iron golem dashes forward and slams the ravager with its body. Holy shit. The iron golem looks great. They look more like a robot than a blocky chunk of iron. I shake my head and switch my bow into a sword as I see the Vindicator appear in front of me with his axe. Die. I block his attack and push him away from me. I thrust my sword and stabbed him right in the chest. However, instead of screaming in pain or even dying, the Vindicator roars and swings his axe at me. I block his attack once again and swing my sword, but instead of taking my attack head on, he jumps to the side and makes a counterattack against me. I block his attack with my sword and do a shield bash to his face. I stab his neck and try to cut off his head. But his left hand grabs my sword and prevents me from cutting off his head. He raises his axe so fast that I do not have time to block or dodge, but sadly for him, his axe hits my armor, and the thorns effect activates, and I see a small thorn coming out of my armor and stab him. With his attack failed, I pull my sword and swing it over his neck. I watch as the head rolls on the ground and look at the other illagers attacking the other villagers. It looks like the illagers prioritize the villagers over me. I will use this chance to take them one by one. I take out my bow and shoot at the pillager in the distance, who shoots one of the villagers with his crossbow. I can see him look at me now after my arrow hit him right in the head. I continue to fire my arrow at the pillager and kill him after the third hit. With one of them down, I aim at the next pillager, but before I can release my arrow, I see a ghostly creature hit me. I grunt a little because that small bastard hit hard, and I can feel the pain. I can see Vex look at me with a smug expression with a sword twice the size of its body in hand. Not only that, it brings its friends with it. 2 of them. I look around, searching for the one summoning these things, and see the evoker standing far away from the others. I ignore the Vex and dash toward the magician of the group. The evoker looked at me and raised his hand into the air. I can hear him chanting, and after a couple of seconds, I can see him summon the maw of a creature from the ground. The maw chomp anything above it, and it is coming at me. I dodge to the left and dodge the incoming attack, but I widen my eyes when I see another wave of attack coming at me. I jump away from left to right to dodge the incoming attack so they cannot hit me. When I get near him, I see the evoker slam his hands on the ground and summon that maw around him. However, sadly for him, I built a tower and used it to jump over the protective attack. I thrust my sword and stabbed his head. I pull my sword and continue to stab him until he is dead. I blink a little when I hear a scream. I turn around to see the 3 Vex who chase after me screaming as they disappear. They are dead when their summoner is dead, huh. Neat. I shake my head and charge at the remaining Vindicator and Pillager.
Another tale fades into the silence. But here, in the fantasy audiobook library, stories never sleep. Subscribe, and return when your heart seeks adventure. We'll be waiting.